Welcome to Lesson 1, which is called Welcome to BYU Idaho. This is Brother Wynn, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time with you reviewing Lesson 1. Before I do that, I wanted to share with you my thoughts about the class. First of all, thank you for having the courage to complete the introduction lesson. And if you haven't completed all the lessons, that's okay. We're at the very beginning stages of the class, and I know that this learning environment can be different and even challenging. So please take your time and get familiar with how the course is set up. I've created videos prior to this to show you how the course works, but I'm going to spend just a little bit of time right now reviewing the folders that you see off to the left. So again, you have My Instructor folder, Course folder, Lead Student folder, Pathway Missionary Tools. I'm not sure if you see that or not. Then we have the course notes, and the following folders in this area are used throughout the course. Then we've just completed the introduction lesson, and now we're moving on to lesson number 1. And again, each of the folders follow this same pattern of a pre-gathering, gathering, and post-gathering. So what I want to do today is look at the pre-gathering in this video and hopefully give you a better idea or sense of what is expected as we move forward. Now, if you already know how to work through each of these assignments, then don't feel obligated to continue with the video. You can go ahead and get started. But for those of you that maybe need a little bit more instruction, this is the purpose of the video. So starting up here at the very top, we have lesson preview. I should say lesson 1 preview. If I click on that, it's going to show you all of the activities that we'll be doing this week in one area or on one page of the iLearn system. So it gives you lesson 1, Welcome to BYU Idaho. It talks about the outcomes, which are describe and apply the principles of the BYU Idaho learning model. Describe and apply the process of the BYU Idaho learning model. And then it says construct effective questions and answer them while reading and in conversation. So this is talking about our English skills. And then another one here that will focus on, or another outcome I should say, that focus on our English skills are learn and apply the study skills of asking and answering questions. So at the end of the week we should be able to see these outcomes. Let's scroll down and just look at the doctrinal introduction. BYU Idaho mission statement. BYU Idaho, Brigham Young University, Idaho is affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Its mission is to build testimonies of the restored gospel of Jesus Christ and encourage living its principles. Provide a quality education for students of diverse interests and abilities. Prepare students for lifelong learning, for employment, and for their roles as citizens and parents. Maintain a wholesome academic, cultural, social, and spiritual environment. So that is the BYU mission statement, and our whole focus of the class will surround these 4 areas of the mission statement. Let's scroll down and look at the schedule. So the schedule for this week, first of all, you need to complete your peer discussion appointment by Saturday and your speaking partner appointment by Saturday. So let's first look at the peer discussion appointment. And you can see how it jumps down over here to the peer discussion appointment. It says the purpose of the peer discussion appointment is to provide English conversation practice and to increase your English speaking fluency. Directions. Step 1. Set your appointment for this week with your assigned peer. The appointment should be worked out with your peer to schedule a time that works for the two of you. It should be sometime between Monday and Saturday, but it is recommended that you meet early in the week. Your report is due on Saturday. Step 2. Meet with your peer for at least 30 minutes at your appointed time and complete the discussion activity below. Step 3. After meeting with your peer, click the Start button at the bottom of the screen to answer questions about your discussion. You may complete this report once, but may save your work and finish later, as long as you submit it before the due date. If you need to change your standard meeting time, try to reschedule it beforehand. This should be a rare occurrence. If you miss the appointment, you will lose the points for this assignment. If your peer misses the appointment, and despite many efforts on your part, you're still not able to connect with your peer, ask your missionaries for assistance. It is recommended that you discuss the issue with your missionaries after the gathering on Thursday. In this situation, discuss your circumstances with the missionaries and try to resolve the issue before clicking on the Start button. So, with your peer discussion, there is an outline of how you will work through each of the discussions you have with your peer appointment. And what you'll do is you'll read through here, and I'll do that right now, and then we'll click on the Start button to see what you need to do in order to complete all the assignment. Peer discussion. Today's assignment is to get to know your peer and introduce yourself. The following are some things you might want to talk about: your name, where you are from, what you do each day, your family, your interest. Ask other questions you can think of. You will also play a game. To prepare, write down 5 things about yourself. 3 should be true, 2 should be false. For example, I have eaten a snail. I am a good dancer. I have ridden an elephant. I watch movies every week. I have been to Japan. Your peer will ask you questions about your statements. You will try to make him or her believe that all are true. Excuse me. After 5 minutes, your peer must guess which statements are true. Then it will be your turn to ask your peer questions about statements he or she has prepared. And then again at the bottom, to see a definition of any word on this page, highlight the word and click this button. So if you have any questions about a word, just highlight it and you can click on this button here and it'll answer or give you the definition. And then you'll click the Start button and it'll say, do you want to start now? And then you'll select from number 1, select the option below which describes your completion of the peer discussion appointment. I met with my assigned peer, and if you did, you click here. If you did not, then you click here, and then describe what you learned, new vocabulary, something about the culture, interest areas or ideas, and insights. So that's how you complete your peer discussion appointment. And if you're having any troubles with that, please contact your missionaries. Speaking partner. Okay, the speaking partner appointment, and it looks like some of you have completed that, but you need to have a speaking partner, and you work through. So with your speaking partner, you'll need to work through with the BYU Idaho Center, and they will be able to get you a speaking partner, or you can choose your own speaking partner, but the person has to be fluent in English. So let's just read through the directions here. If you did not provide us with information about your speaking partner mentor last week, please fill out this form. You will need your mentor's name and email address to complete the form. Your speaking partner appointment should take place anytime between Monday and Saturday, with the appointment report due on Saturday. Meet with your speaking partner at least 30 minutes at your appointed time. Follow the link to obtain discussion materials to your appointment. So on this, you'll also have a kind of a script that you'll follow through as you work with your speaking partner. After meeting with your speaking partner, click the Start button. So we can click right here on the Start button and see what that looks like. And again, it's very similar to your peer discussion appointment. Did I meet with my speaking partner? And tell a little bit about your conversation. So again, please take time to work with your speaking partner and your peer discussion appointment this week. Okay, so the next thing that we can look at, I'll go back to Notes from Instructor here in just a bit. Let's look at the pre-gathering information, and I'm going to go back up here and select Lesson Preview. And let's just scroll down. We've looked at the outcome for Lesson 1. We've looked at the doctrinal introduction. Now let's look at the schedule for our pre-gathering folder. We've also looked at the peer discussion and speaking partner. So by Wednesday, you need to introduce yourself and post responses. Okay, and we've talked about that last time, but if I click right here, it will bring up our class. Well, I thought it would bring up our class. It takes us to just a review of what the lesson will be about. And so if I click right here, then it will bring up our class. And so we can see through here that people have been making posts in our class. So make sure you introduce yourself and also respond to 3 other people by Wednesday. So let's go back here. I'm in the right place here, and you can get a little confused here. I'm going to close this up, and then we can go back here. So it's a little easier to look at. So that is introduce yourself. Start the listening and speaking log. So let's click on that. And this is quite a challenging exercise here. And again, this is something that you'll work on during the week. And it says the purpose of this activity is to improve your listening comprehension and speaking fluency. Each week you will practice listening and speaking for about 2 hours. You will keep track of your daily practice and learning and submit a listening and speaking log at the end of the week. You must complete a listening and speaking activity from this list 5 days out of the week. The activities are listed by language level. You may choose whatever activities you wish. So we have intermediate activities and advanced activities, and what you need to do is complete 5 of these. So you may want to say, I want to listen and watch a news report at Voice of America, and that takes about 15 minutes. Teach your friend what you've learned this week in English, 15 minutes. So you can choose 5 from up here, 2 from up here, 3 from down here. As long as you have 5 all together, then you will write what you learned from each of these activities. And in step 1, you'll choose and complete an activity from the list above. Follow this link to log to record your learning. So I click here, and it's going to click on the start button here. And as you notice, this jumps you down to the post gathering. So this is not due until Saturday, but you'll want to start it up here in the pre-gathering because it's quite intensive with time and with what you'll be learning throughout your these different activities. And so there's 5 of them here, and you'll write down exactly what you've learned through choosing whichever item you decided to select from above. So a couple things about this. You'll want to make sure that you put down the vocabulary words that you've learned. So again, that's our speaking and listening log. Okay, I'm going to go back to our lesson preview, and I can just, and so that's the listening and speaking, topic, introduction, and listening practice. This is going to introduce to us our topic for this week, which is the learning model and honor code at BYU. And you'll review the different vocabulary words first to get familiar with the terms. that will be a part of the assignment. And then you'll look at the BYU learning model. There's a video you'll need to watch. There's the 5 principles of the learning model, and then there's the learning model website down here. And you can click on Start here, and they'll have a few questions that you need to answer about the BYU learning model. And also we have the initial discussion board. And again, we can go to the discussion board from here, and you can start that. Remember, you always have to make an initial response by Wednesday. So right here, it's going to talk about what you can discuss in the discussion board. So you can choose one of the 3 learning processing steps, or excuse me, the 3 learning process step, which is prepare, teach one another, ponder, and prove. And there's several other questions you can talk about. And then again, you are going to have that done by Wednesday. And if I go up here to the top, I can click on New Thread. I can add my comments. And then by Saturday, you'll need to respond to 3 other students. Okay, so there's the discussion board and the topic of introduction. Let's go back to lesson preview. And it looks like we're getting close here. We've looked at the discussion board, study skills, asking and answering questions. So follow the steps there. There's going to be a document here that you'll look at, or a presentation about asking and answering questions. And when you're done with that, you'll click the Start button and follow the questions, and then that will be submitted into the gradebook. Going back again, scrolling down. Sorry, there's so much scrolling down. Reading and writing practice. The purpose of this activity is for you to practice reading in English and expressing your thoughts and ideas in written English. And so we'll study Seek Learning by Faith this week, and that is by Elder Bednar. And once you've gone through and looked at this, you can click the Start button, and you'll be able to complete the reading and writing practice. Now, I'm not going to go back up again here and look at this. I'm just going to go to the scripture study for this week, which is Mosiah 18. And again, follow the steps and complete the activity, and then learn a hymn. Each week we need to learn a hymn. The purpose of this activity is to practice your listening and speaking skills. So this week we'll learn verses 2 and 4 of the church hymn 279, Thy Holy Word. And again, when you're done, you can click on the Start button. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea of what needs to be done. If the video seems a little choppy, it's probably because one of my kids have come in and asked me a question, and then I paused the video, and then I'm not sure where I'm at when I get back. So I believe we just talked about making sure that we start the learning a hymn this week. And again, make sure you complete all of these by Wednesday in the pre-gathering folder, except for a couple of these up here, which is your listening and speaking log, which you need to start, but it's not necessarily due until the end of the week.